Scott Lynn for Paul Lindman on this Thursday morning. The morning update. You heard it here on News Radio KEX. The Supreme Court has upheld the individual insurance requirement at the heart of President Barack Obama's health care overhaul. The court handing Obama a campaign season victory and rejecting arguments that Congress went too far in requiring most Americans have health insurance or pay a penalty. While you were listening to ABC's live coverage of the High Court's decision, I was speaking with Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, one of the leading Republicans in Congress. We want to bring you that conversation now. Just moments after the decision was made public, I asked for the senator's reaction.
Disappointment, obviously. My understanding of the Constitution is that the Commerce Clause was supposed to regulate and enhance trade among the states, but really had nothing to do with forcing individuals to buy something. And for about 60 or 70 years, we've been reading a more expansive understanding of the Commerce Clause, and our hope was that it was go the other way. Now, there are some saying that I haven't had a chance to look at the court reading yet, but there are some saying that it may not have been exactly clear what the ruling is yet. So I think people are reading the documents now.
This has been such a political football, so to speak. What is this going to mean to Mitt Romney's presidential bid? Is this a critical blow?
We'll see what happens, and I think the whole idea is still a very open topic in our country, is whether or not government has limits. George Will described this case as the case against Obamacare as being the last exit ramp on the highway to unlimited government. And there's some bigger questions here. One of the questions is, do we live in a democracy where 51% gets to decide anything, or do we live in a constitutional republic where government is restrained and can only do certain things that the Constitution allows? Many of us believe in that, and if you believe in that, then one of the other consequences is a balanced budget and fiscal responsibility. Right now we have trillion-dollar deficits, and we have people who say that the Constitution has no restrictions on government and that it can do whatever it wants. That's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for bankruptcy of the country, destruction of the currency, all bad things coming, and a lot of them are already here.
What is this going to mean to families in Portland, Oregon, and around the country?
One of the things that I worry most about Obamacare is that some have estimated, the CBO estimated 20 million people could lose their private insurance. McKinsey Group estimated it could be 50 to 60 million people. The reason why is that if you can pay the government $2,000 fine to provide your insurance, and the average employer is paying $12,000, why not dump your employees on these exchanges, which essentially means dumping them on Medicaid? What's the biggest driver of state insolvency right now, the biggest cost to state governments? Medicaid. Hospitals are not going to make it. There's a looming disaster. If we have to live with Obamacare, look at Illinois, look at California, look at all the budgetary problems these states are running into. Add to that double and triple how many people are on Medicaid. It's a huge disaster waiting to happen.
Businesses, how are they going to react? Again, knowing that this is in place and they're going to have to provide health benefits, they're still not going to be apt to hire, are they?
I'll give you a good example. I know a guy who has a temp agency. He has 400 part-time workers. That means 200 full-time workers. $2,000 per person, that's $400,000. He's a small businessman right now, and he doesn't provide any health insurance at all. But guess what? How do you get a job with insurance? You may have to take a temporary job that doesn't have insurance. That's your entryway into the workforce. And so how's this small business person going to run his temp agency with a $400,000 bill that he had not planned on previously? So there are so many unintended consequences of what's coming from Obamacare that, if this appears as if the court has upheld it, what you'll see is, I hope, a mass movement in the election to say, we've got to change things. We've got to change the Congress because we're not going to survive this.
There were a lot of people that suggested a defeat here for the individual mandate would tarnish the president's legacy. What do you think his legacy will be now?
Well, I think his legacy right now is really that he's probably the most anti-business president we've ever had in our history. In my state, the coal industry, he promised to bankrupt them. If he gets another term, I fear that, there are estimates that we can lose as many as 50,000 jobs in the coal industry. Half of our electricity still comes from coal. The green folks think they plug their car into the wall and there's no exhaust. Well, guess what? 50% of what comes out of your wall socket's still coming from coal right now. And if you cripple coal, where's your electricity for your electric car going to come from?
Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, thank you for being with us today in Portland.
Thank you.